Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now back in March I was lucky enough to attend IWA and spend some time with the good people on the Nextorch stand, that was, sorry, a bit of a tongue twister there, where I managed to get my hands on the Pioneer 14-in-1 multi-tool. Now I've actually got one now and had this for a while now to be able to test this out, and there's a killer feature on here that I think more multi-tools need. Bit of a winner for me, so let's take a closer look. Now just a quick look at the box. You know, you've got some information here on the front, 14 tools, some stuff on the side here quickly, and then on the back here. So if I bring this, see if I can get this in focus, just to give you some headline points on here. The weight comes in at 268 grams, the blade angle is 75 inches, it's blackened and stone washed. You can see the three steels that are used here throughout those. Apologies, I seem to have the hiccups for a second. And then measurements is 109 millimeters by 39 millimeters by 28. But here are all of the tools. We will go through them all. I keep forgetting where the bottle opener is. Hopefully I will still remember where it is. But you know, you can pretty much open a bottle with any sort of multi-tool. But when you open this up for a second, you get some instructions that are just there at the side, but as probably 95% of us will do, as soon as we finish with this, we'll just chuck away the box. I do like that this comes with a sheath. The sheath on this is very nice. It has easy open, so you're not having to worry about having a clip on here or anything. Have I mentioned this? Hopefully I have mentioned this, but if not, you know, this tool is specifically designed for emergency services. If you're a police officer, if you're fire and rescue, if you are mountain rescue, if you are a paramedic, anything like that, this is really designed for you. However, if you're not one of those and you want to just use this as a regular multi-tool, then you can still use it as that. The main reason this is just Velcro on here to have this open is so that you can get this out with one hand and then you can get to it as quickly as possible. It's made from this really tough kind of ballistic nylon style material. It's also a hard case as well, so again, if you have to put this back in with one hand, you can do that, and there's ample room. Now whether you put it in that end first or that end first, or because there is a pocket clip on here, if you worry about the pocket clip kind of catching on the side, once you've kind of indexed it in there first, it will go in, and then I suppose we haven't done it this way with the pocket clip, it will also go in as well. This way with the pocket clip, it does hang sometimes. However, that's only if you have it at this angle. If I lie it flat, you'll see it just slides in, no issues whatsoever. As far as the fixation point on this at the back, you do have a loop that you can pass this through, or if you want to attach this to some pals webbing, you can pass it through there. There is also the under ladder here as well, and then you've got a press stud here at the bottom, which I think is nice. I thought that came up for a second. No, it doesn't, but that's just where this is stitched on, because there is a little bit of plastic reinforcement in there to make sure that that stays nice and solid. So yes, it's a nice what's it now? I have just opened that tool by accident. Let's just lock that away again. Right, now as far as the tools that are on here are concerned, the vast majority of the tools are all dealt with through the outside. There are some internal tools, but it's the same as you would expect with a lot of other of these kind of multi-tools that open out like this, and they're the ones that generally are on the inside. The vast majority of everything else is all on the outside. So flipping this round, I know I mentioned on the side of the box, but this has a kind of a weathered feel to this. So hopefully, you know, as you're using this, it will gather its own kind of patina, its own look and feel. Holding it this way, no sort of real sort of orientation on this other than for these the two tools that we'll have a look at here. These are the easiest ways to be able to get open. So first one, you have a knife which you can open with one hand. I know I mentioned at the beginning of this being able to get it in and out of the in and out of the sheath. It's easy to do with one hand, but opening these tools, although I know a certain manufacturer is making it a lot easier to be able to open it with one hand, you can still open this with one hand with the thumb kind of nail nick that there is there. The blade itself is reasonably short, however, you know, it's still usable. If you are a paramedic and you need to use this to get into things, whether you're, I don't know, whatever, you're opening medical equipment, that sort of stuff, or even if you do need to use it so that you can cut something, it's fine. It's not a particularly long length. If you do need to get this in so that it goes underneath things, although there are some shears which you will have a look on here, it does have a rounded edge here so that it will just roll as it goes over skin. Now I'm sure you probably wouldn't use that, but in a pinch, if you had to, there is some protection here on the back. To close this, there is a lock on here which you have to push in for it to be able to be able to close. I do have to state here in the UK, to carry this in public, because it does lock, it's illegal to carry in public. However, if you are in the police, if you are a paramedic and you are carrying this because it is a tool for your profession, it's not legal to carry. It is a specific tool that you can use for your line of work. So yeah, push that in like a line lock and it will close off. On the opposite side here, there is a saw which still has some wood in it actually, because I was messing around with it the other weekend. I'd say this does a good job as far as saws go. It cut through the wood that I was trying to cut through with just to see if it would work, and yeah, did a good job. Again, you have to push that in to be able to lock that and then be able to close it. The space that, or at least one of the things, if I could change anything, I would make this ever so slightly longer. However, I can see why it's that length, mainly because down here at the bottom there, you have two tools here. Now the first tool I'm going to pop out, and hopefully you'll be able to see, it's a small flat head screwdriver. This is interchangeable. Now the way in which you do it is, in fact, let's see the second tool. The second tool that is sat just behind it is one of these hooks, so that if you need to be able to cut some webbing, if somebody is stuck in a vehicle and you need to be able to cut through the seat belt, then you can cut through that with this. I guess you can cut clothing as well with it, but I don't think that's what these are designed for. But this tool here works in conjunction with this one if you want to be able to change this. So the way in which you change it is, the tool at the back has to be at 90 degrees like that, and you'll feel that there's almost like a half detent as it goes round. If you then move this into the 12 o'clock position and then give it a wiggle and a pull up, which I'm trying to do on camera, a wiggle and a pull up, and you'll see that this comes out. The only way you can get this to come out is having this at 90 degrees. If this isn't at 90 degrees, this will not come out. One of the other tools that you can get for this, if you do want to interchange it, is you can get a handcuff key. So if you are in security or if you're in the police and you want to have your handcuff key on here, then you can have this on here as well. To be able to put it back in, it's exactly the same operation. So you push it in, make sure it's seated all the way down, lock that down, and then this it just won't come out. There's no way to be able to get that out. To put it away, you just, now I will say, just make sure that it is seated in so that when you close it, it will close. Now that I know that it's seated in, then it's easier to close. So that was my error rather than the actual tools. There is an additional one on here, so you get an 8cm ruler on the back here as well. Now there is another one on the front here which I kind of opened by accident before. Hopefully you'll see here that you've got a lock and unlock. So you can pull this down and it will open this for you. So this can be used if in a certain situation where you need to restrain somebody and you have those instead of using handcuffs, the zip tie handcuffs, then this is specifically for that, and it will fit in there, and then you can clip that off, and then you can get those off. You can use it for other things as well, though, if there are any other zip tie kind of things. If you've got some regulators with a zip tie on and you need to be able to get that zip tie off the regulator so that you can take the regulator off and move on to something else, things get stolen, all of that sort of stuff, then again you can use this, clip it off, change it to another bottle, and then, you know, put another zip tie back onto it. So there are the main ones on the outside. Now, I do remember, I keep forgetting about the bottle opener. The bottle opener is just here, which is a strange place to have it, I will say. However, if you've got a multi-tool, if you've got a knife and you don't know how to open a bottle, then, well, maybe I should make some content on how to open bottles with pretty much anything. Now, the last few tools are on the inside, and this was the big thing for me. I tend to use scissors on multi-tools more than I use pliers. So having scissors on this is really good. Now, the shears, I keep knocking that. That's my error. That's not the tool's error. The shears on here are really good, and I also like the fact that they are spring-loaded. So if you're able to see, that kicks back up, and the spring on this is really good. The scissors on here, so there is a slightly serrated edge on here, so if you are trying to cut something and you're worried about it kind of being forced out, it will hold it in place. Now, I know that the kind of the benchmark for a lot of shears comes down to 511 paracord. So there's 2 bits of it, let's do 4 bits of it. No issues with 511 paracord whatsoever. Even something that's like a bit thicker. Now, the reason I'm doing this one is because it's thicker, but it's also a little bit floppier, and what you tend to get sometimes is that it will force the jaws apart, and it just kind of sandwiches down between them. No issues with this whatsoever. Now, I did make some content on some shears before, and people were like, no, the benchmark is actually motorcyclist leathers. Unfortunately, I don't have any motorcyclist leathers that I can try. Oh, actually, does anybody have any motorcycle leathers that they want to send me so that I can do some... Anyway, but I've not been able to find anything that this hasn't been able to cut through. That was the big selling point for me. Now, I'm not a physician. I don't work, well, I kind of work in pharmaceuticals, but I don't need medical shears. However, I carry medical shears with me pretty much every day. Very useful to have. Now, you might be wondering at this point, well, actually, I much prefer pliers. I wish there was pliers on this instead, but they have you covered because the pliers are just here. So you can close this up. Then once you have this out, here are your pliers. The pliers on here are also spring loaded as well, and they do a very good job of being able to open out. As far as the pliers are concerned, you have a needle nose pliers here at the end. There are also some bar grips, and then on the inside you have 2 cutting edges. One that just locks into place there, and then there's an additional one towards the end. These also have, so these also, the cutting edge on here, you have a small screw here so that can be changed, and a small screw here so that can be changed. Again, I've found that these are really useful. They're not as strong as some other ones. Clearly, I don't think they're as big as some of those other larger tools. However, for what this is designed for, I think these are perfect, and will do whatever it is that you need to do them for. If it's for pulling needles, not necessarily needles, but like fishing needles, what are they called? Hooks out of people, or pulling glass out of people, then, you know, you'll be able to do that. Now, the last one, which I knew I would forget because of the bottle one, but it reminded me just while I was thinking about it, is here just in the corner. Hopefully you'll be able to see, and it even says O2 next to it. So you have an O2 tool, so that if you need to be able to change a regulator on a bottle and you don't have a tool with you, then you can do that with this as well. All of that nicely packaged into, again, something that will fit on a belt or a vest. Yeah, it's a nice package. Just like back in March, I was completely sold on the shears with this. For everyday use, these are great shears. I like the fact that more people are getting into the multi-tool market. Now, I think here on Moorlander EDC, I've done some multi-tools in the past. Actually, here's a shout out to Dom from Max Level EDC. That guy is legit the just grand master on multi-tools. I think he has made some content on this, so definitely go and check out his channel. But for me, having something that has the shears on there, I use scissors generally more than I use pliers on certain tools. So I think that it's great that it has this. It's also nice to see, which I think was the original point before I got distracted with Dom, is it's good to see other manufacturers getting into the multi-tool kind of scene. I think for a long time, if you wanted a decent quality multi-tool, there was a certain US company that most people would generally tend to go to, or a Swiss company that also made kind of multi-tooly knife kind of things. So it's great to see that there are other companies out there putting some time and effort into nice tools as well. Now, full disclosure, I did leave a note at the beginning of this, but this was sent to me from Nextorch. Again, I know I say this a lot, but I hope you understand that I do have a good relationship with them. If it was that I didn't like this, then you just simply wouldn't see this content, and I'd have just returned it back to them. So a huge thank out to the awesome team at Nextorch. I'll leave their links below so that you can see more from them. I've also done quite a lot of their flashlights, so I'll leave some links to those as well. I'll leave some of my social media links. I got sidetracked then, I keep going off script. I'll leave some of my social media links below here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel, Moorlander Tactical. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. It's the Pioneer. Pioneer. Pie on ear. Pioneer. Pioneer. That is a hereditary disease if you come from Wigan. Pioneer. Only a small percentage of the world will get that joke, but if you do, then probably from Wigan. Hello to all the people from Wigan. I was at IWA. Got to spend some. I think I'm dehydrated. I think I am dehydrated. That's why I'm brain's not working properly. I also just pinched my finger in it while I was closing it as well. I was like, I was being a big strong boy, making sure I didn't cry, but it pinched. Look, it's left a little white mark. But it's just multi-tool life, innit? At the end of the day, it's multi-tool life, innit? Yeah, getting your fingers pinched or something. Anyway, there isn't a bloopers question today. Instead, we're going to have some fun with Dom on Max Level EDC. Go and find Dom's most recent video and just randomly comment what your favourite sandwich is in his comments. That's it. Let's have some fun and be a little disruptive. So yeah, it's Dom on Max Level EDC. Find his most recent video, I'm not sure what that is, his most recent video, and put just simply what your favourite sandwich is. Mine would be a ploughman sandwich. Love it. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you in a bit. Hope you're all having a good day. Yeah, that is it.